College of Engineering and Management and the organizing committee. I like to invite everyone to the inaugural function of a 5-day faculty development program on recent trends in fluid dynamics from November 17 to 21st, 2020, organized by Department of Mechanical Engineering and Department of Mathematics in association with CMTI Bengaluru. My hearty welcome to all the distinguished guests and people gathered here and online. Welcoming the guest is a valued tradition in our country. We welcome people into our abode with warmth. On that note, I would like to welcome Dr. H. Ramakrishna, Principal of Saptagiri College of Engineering, Dr. C. Mahadev Swami, Professor and Head, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Shripad Markande, Professor and Head, Department of Mathematics. I also welcome Dr. Manjunath, Professor and Head, Department of Civil Engineering. I also welcome Chief Guest Dr. Naga Hanumaya, Director, CMTI, online to this function. I also welcome Guest of Honor, Dr. Pradeep G. Siddeshwar, Senior Professor, Christ University, and Dr. Sadashive Gowda, Principal, Vidyavartaka College of Engineering. I also welcome Sri G. Dayanand, Chairman, SCE, and GD Manoj, Executive Director, SCE, in their absence here. Success is not the key to happiness, but on the other hand, happiness is the key to success. Any auspicious program to be successful needs the blessing of God Almighty. I request Professor Namrata V, Department of Physics, to invoke Almighty's blessing with the prayer.
गण 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 गणनायक गे गणपति राज गे जया जया गण 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 गणनायक गे गणपति राज गे जया जया गण गण गणवीचरव गणा अणुगणा सुगण गणा गणा गण गण गणवीचरव गणा अणुगणा सुगण गणा गणा गण 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 नायक गे गणपति राज गे जया जया मूलाधार भुजंग गण स्वादिष्ठान भुसस्य गण मूलाधार भुजंग गण स्वादिष्ठान भुसस्य गण मणिपूरं संपन्न गण वायुगणा गण 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 गणपति जया जया गण 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 गणनायक गे गणपति राज जया जया गणपति राज जया जया गणपति राज जया जया थैंक यू.
Thank you, Namrata. Now I request Dr. H. Ramakrishna, Principal, Saptagiri College of Engineering, to address the gathering.
Good morning. I'm very happy development program on recent trends in fluid dynamics organized by Department of Mechanical Engineering, Department of Mathematics, and Department of Civil Engineering in association with CMTI Bengaluru. In this occasion, I would like to congratulate all the heads of the department who have taken a lot of effort in organizing this program. And I am very much thankful for the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Naga Hanumaya, Director, CMTI Bengaluru, for readily accepting our invitation to organize this program in association with CMTI and also delivering his chief guest address. And I also thankful for the guest of honor, Dr. Pradeep T. Sideshwar, Senior Professor, Department of Mathematics, Rice University, Bengaluru, and Dr. Sadashivi Gowda, Principal, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore, for accepting our invitation to deliver the address today. And also, I am very much in depth respect to Sri G. Dayanand, Chairman, Saptagiri College of Engineering, Bengaluru, and Sri G. P. Manoj, Executive Director, Saptagiri College of Engineering, Bengaluru, and the patrons, Dr. Karisidappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belgavi, Dr. A. Deshpande, Registrar, VTU Belgavi, Dr. Satish Anigere, Registrar, Evaluation, VTU Belgavi. They have expressed their congratulations, they have congratulated and expressed their wishes for this 5-day FCP program. And in this occasion, I also, all the heads of the department who are here, who are supported, and the staff, professors of all the departments, have taken a lot of effort in organizing this program. This fluid dynamics is one of the key engineering subjects where even medicine, engineering, and allied sciences use this fluid dynamics subject. So, in this occasion, probably this 5-day FTP program will open an eye on all the participants.
The usefulness of the fluid dynamics and
great invention
in future. In this occasion, thank you very much. All the best for all this, the program. I congratulate once again the program organizing committee. Hope this program will bring a light on fluid dynamics so that future generation will be benefited. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words of welcome. Now I request Dr. P. Mahadev Swami to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Naga Hanumaya.
Respected Principal Sir, dignitaries online and offline, and my dear friends, I am very happy to introduce Dr. Naga Hanumaya Sir. Dr. Naga Hanumaya has taken over charge as a Director of CMTI Bangalore effective from 5th July 2018. Dr. Naga Hanumaya, distinguished scientist, has served CSIR Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, Durgapur, as a chief scientist and head Micro Nano Systems Technology Group for more than 2 decades. He received PhD from IIT Bombay, Masters in Tool Engineering from Indo-Danish Tool Room, Bangalore, and Bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering from Bangalore University. He has 25 years of professional experience, including 20 years in R&D. He was nodal officer, successfully implemented 3 major multi-institution network projects in micro machines and smart manufacturing areas. He has published 88 research papers, filed 4 patents, and successfully demonstrated working prototypes of 3 micro machines. He has guided 3 PhD, 18 MTech students. Currently, 6 PhD scholars are working with him. He is a recipient of Bioscast Fellowship and Raman's Research Fellowship. He is one of the recipients of We Think for India Award from Prime Minister of India for the Indian Manufacturing Policy draft prepared in 2003. In 2017, he was awarded as a distinguished scientist by Venue International Foundation. With this brief introduction, I request Naganmaya sir to address the gathering.
Good morning. I hope I'm audible. Hello.
Sir, you are audible.
Yes. Good morning. So I share my screen.
Naganmaya sir.
Yeah.
Naganmaya sir.
Yeah. Please.
Sir, new present money.
Yeah. Okay. So now is it visible? My slides. I shared the slides. These slides are visible.
No, sir, not yet.
Hello, sir.
Hello. 1 second.
Sir. Present now, Madi.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing that only.
Okay.
Is it visible? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, visible.
Visible, sir.
Okay. Good morning. So, thank you for giving our opportunity for CMTI to host jointly with Saptagiri Engineering College. Central Manufacturing Technology Institute is an autonomous institute under Department of Heavy Industry. We primarily focused on machine tools and manufacturing process. Next 15-20 minutes, what I would focus is my present, because I'm not a fluid dynamics expert. My experience in fluid dynamics is only I work a little bit about based platforms. But what I would try to discuss here is the importance of the training, active training in promoting innovations. This subject is relevant because the government is trying hard to push the local goods that is under Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. I think that sense, no matter whether somebody works on fluidics, somebody works on hardcore manufacturing, somebody is on thermal systems, but that more or less is applicable to everyone. With that, I'm trying to basically present what we can be able to do at the engineering school. That is what. If someone is new to CMTI, yes, I believe everybody is aware, but yes, just to, because I'm coming from CMTI, so I'm just share what we do here. CMTI, we undertake research, develop technology and machines, and also train the manpower, and see that this technology developed in CMTI is deployed into industry. That is the USP of our institute. Basically, our focus domain is ultra precision machine tools, special purpose machines, sensors, controls, textile machineries, then aircraft LRUs and test rigs. And my colleagues from this group, this vertical, primarily they are working on fluidics. So I think they are also the first person in this faculty development program. The other areas like metrology, smart manufacturing and industry 4, additive manufacturing. And yes, we are being a national lab, so technology development and manpower training, skilling and reskilling are primary focus. As of now, CMTI has about 50 technologies. I'm sorry, I'm not advertising here, but yes, it is there. 50 technologies are ready for commercialization. So one can go with the technology licensing so that we can handle them till the commercializing, or somebody can start as we can incubate the startups at CMTI. And if not, then we can also customize the technology to individual needs. Here I just populated, maybe some of you, wherever I go, I show these slides. So maybe these are repetition for some of you. These are the machine tools that clearly shows the kind of machine tool which we build. Our institute. These are smart machines and aggregates. And these are little legacy machines, bigger machines. It's like a trunky machines, particularly the special purpose machines, where the difference is in the previous case, the accuracy level are in the order of submicrons or nanometer. Here, accuracy levels are in fraction of millimeter to the microns. But here, problem is defined by an industry partner. We build a system to solve their problems. But there, primarily, we are developing our own machines. Apart from that, yes, CMTI also provides services. So these are the areas. For the want of time, I'm just skipping some of this. I will not go through all. Basically, machine tool, aggregate measurements, re-engineering of high-value components, aerospace qualification test, metal testing, metallurgy, and then nano manufacturing and nano characterization. Maybe some of you are working on nanomaterials and all, so we have all facilities required for nanomaterial characterization in one roof. And we also conduct training programs. Annually, we have about 55 training programs. It is generally short-term training program, 2 to 5 days. And 25 corporate training programs. These are generally long-term. It is 15 to 30 days program. So sometimes engineers, particularly the MNCs, use this facility to train their engineers. We also conduct active learning workshops for engineering students. This is maybe your engineering school. I understand all our faculties, they can use this to train the engineering students at your school. And then the benefit schools, summer internship. Annually, we are hosting about 100 summer internships. And then also we have some design innovation clinics for learning, both for students as well as MSME. Yes, here I just shared the future manufacturing technologies. This is not my statement, it's a survey, global survey. They are stimulated by smart and intelligent systems, integrated with sensors network, driven by adaptive controls. Distributed manufacturing is distributed across the globe with high degree of mass customization. The manufacturing processes could become highly predictable. As a result, machine tools would become reconfigurable or multifunctional. That means same machines could be reconfigured to manufacture a family of products depending on modularity, similarity index. There are different topics into that. So that definitely forces us to have the machine. What the agenda behind this is education. So education has to be innovation-driven education. This is what my next maybe 10 minutes presentation, what I'm going to do. Yes, first question is innovation-driven education. The question comes, are we not innovative? If I look at the education system, there are many challenges. The first and foremost challenge is we never appreciated science and engineering are two and collaborative pillars for the innovation cycle, because I always say the guy who is better. Maybe I request all of you to mute on behalf of host. I'm requesting, so kindly mute your mic so that it will not disturb others. Yeah, this is the concept. The guy who could able to have little IQ, clear the entrance, he will get into engineering. So he thinks it is different from science, or in reverse, vice versa. But yes, innovation will have science and engineering both together, because science gives the basic understanding. Engineers translate this into a real or workable or feasible product prototype. So I think this is one first fundamental has to be taught to the engineering students. So Bhaiya, you have to understand the basics, the science behind there, then only you can able to become a good engineer. And another problem is it is globally survey that clearly says, hello,
Sir.
so is it audible? Yes, I think somebody was saying, yes. Globally, it is very well evident that the students are attentive only for 10 to 15 minutes in the classroom class period, what we call about 45 to 1 hour. So that means whatever the teacher's responsibility is, how to encash this 10 to 15 minutes so that you convey the subject which you wanted to taught. That is one challenge. The second challenge is teacher is effective to increase this slot 10 to 15 minutes. And nowadays it is very difficult because of the Facebook, WhatsApp, and class is not a small room class. Class will have about 90, 100 students. So it is difficult to expect a teacher to look for all the students unless you attract at the classroom. So this is the challenge behind before the teachers like you. And how student learn. So student learning is, yes, there are different modes. I'm sure you are the better people to judge. But these are experiments reported in the literature. Their learning is through participative and experimental nature of learning. Or they learn through case-based learning. So that means previous examples, previous development, previous projects, or through inquiry-based learning. So that means the questionnaire, teaching, those kind of things. Then the problem-based learning. So not necessarily you have to taught problem by definitions, theories by definitions. You can define a problem and then you bring back them to classroom basics, because basics is definitely, that is a responsibility what teachers have. The action-based learning, so it's like drama and all, those all comes under action-based learning. The small group learning, like always group discussion, this is what we engineering school students did overnight. 4 or 5 people join together. Tomorrow we have an exam. So overnight we discuss and each one will talk about different topics, different subjects. That is another way to learn. And to enable the students to engage in a collaborative work, that is another way you can teach them. Provide a leadership in the teamwork, so you can build, because we are all good in working in an isolated way, but working in team is a challenge in which everyone has to face, no matter what profession he picks up. I think it's better if you can able to build it in engineering school and conduct critical analysis, and also, if possible, see things in a different perspective. Don't ask students to kind of dictate, no, this is the only way to work. No, let them think, let them criticize. That brings in a lot of perspective, different perspectives, so that you can discuss and deliberate either in a classroom or in the session class. So whatever the way our curriculum says. Then naturally, this is how responsibility on the faculty. Can we able to bring the real project into the classroom? So here normally we have little wrong convention. How could the faculty teaching in some school could able to bring the project, because institute like CMTI factory or like some machine tool company or some other company will not allow them to take the problem to the classroom. No, it is not necessary. Let me give one example. So if you want to teach the friction as a chapter, so if you started saying an explanation theory, your students will sleep. Instead, if you make a story around this, okay, yesterday I visited the shopping mall. My wife slipped off. Right? If you start this, then bring back to your different problem, or somebody like teaching materials, you bring back the materials problem, or somebody teaching on balancing, you can bring back to the balancing. So there are many ways you can able to convert this case into an engineering problem and then bring back theory, teach them, so that you can at least the 10, 15 minutes, whatever the effective time, that would be little enhanced so that students will get learn. If you say that, if you started a story that yesterday I stepped off, so definitely people, students will be attentive. Yes, this is what normally we all argue, but the true is in engineering, 1 plus 1 will never be a 2. So it's either is always 2 plus or 2 minus. So both we scientists, engineers, we are all trying to reach closer to 2. And understand why we are not able to reach to 2, or I exceeded, or I could not reach there. If we, for that, to understand that itself is lot of science, lot of subject theoretical ideas required, perspectives, thinkings are required. At the same time, to reach little one step further. So if it is a, say for example, you wanted to make a 20 millimeter shaft diameter by turning operation, but definitely will never be able to get 20 millimeter. It's always 20 plus or 20 minus. So if first job is 20.2, so if you want to bring back to 20.05, a lot of things is there. So with respect to process, with respect to machine tools, with respect to skill set, and with respect to material, there are so many aspects. You can figure out just a turning operation, lathe operation in lathe machine. So there are so many parameters. There are 3 parameters which operator can control, but rest all is uncontrollable parameters. So that is what, no matter how difficult, like maybe somebody thinks, how can I teach active learning in mathematics, or how can I afford, that is a management thinks that way. And some people is a traditional mindset. No, I never taught this way from last 25 years, 30 years. So how can I think of that? But yes, there is also issue retention. This is an industrial setup. If I teach, there is a perspective, the wrong belief. If I teach somebody, tomorrow you leave. Yes, but tomorrow you leave. Let us look at a chance. He got a life, better life. Second is the second guy got an opportunity. And it is not nothing new. It is a global rule. So golden rule is: I hear, I forget, I see, and I remember. I do, I understand. I think this is where the engineering education has to transform. So lot of this will not come in one go. So teachers have to spend a lot of time on this. So this is just an example. If you put out of things kind of in a Google, this is a picture, I think a variation of these pictures. Because I must have given several lectures, more than 100 now, to engineering school. This slide I'm showing for last 15 years. But don't believe not even 20% of the students could able to solve this. Yeah, because say for example, I want to draw line for connecting all these lines without lifting my pen, but limited to 4 straight lines. So everybody will trying to be confined to this. If I show the answer, you will understand. See, this is an answer, but we never thought of going beyond these points. That is why we are not able to connect these lines. Because we were taught, or we teachers teach students within the strict boundaries. I think that is where the students' minds are confined to a very local, narrow area, but they will understand their mistake only when they take up the profession. I think that is what you experience, we also experience, no matter what profession you do. I think that is what is required is the students has to be allowed to think beyond what they supposed to. And yes, at the same time, no matter what we do, there are fundamentals, it remains always fundamentals, and fundamentals drives the product innovation. So one has to understand. So whatever the product you do, so this has to be taught to the engineering students. So you need to address on these 5 Fs: form, function, flow, physics, and fabrication. So there are again each parameter, the 5 Fs have different parameters. One has to look into that, whether you make just a bicycle or auto or plane. So I think this slide, maybe some of you must have, if you are attended, this is again the one slide I show in everywhere. This is just a water bottle. For a consumer, this is well small, will drink water and throw it. But for an engineer or the manufacturer perspective, there's a lot of engagement is required. So product and process is always comes together. That is what expected from we engineers. Say for example, if you ask, you see this can be easily taught in engineering school. So we water bottle. So you ask questions to the engineering students. Many of the students fail to answer how many parts are there. I listed 4 parts, but many students even not able to identify this. And then of course, are them same? No. Are they different? How they different? If they're same, how they're same? So this kind of things. Then because nothing is there. If you look at these answers, it's all taught in. This is what we teach in engineering school. We are supposed to teach. I think that is where the students could be made more kind of responsive, and at the same time, the involvement within the classroom that would comes up. So at the same time, so this is one slide which I populated here. No matter what we do with respect to material, with respect to complexity, with respect to dimension scale, but fundamentally manufacturing process even today could be categorized into these 4 fundamental processes. That means we create the shapes either by removing a material, shaping a material with change, phase change without phase change, or we are adding a material and create the geometries. That is what your all additive manufacturing, rapid prototyping, all those kinds comes. Or you chemistry, biology driven people, you also create a geometries that is self-assembly, self-organization, like this is a kind of DNA what we have. So you can, by this also you can able to create a shapes that is more of biology, chemistry driven, biomanufacturing, those kind of things are there. But these are fundamental process. I think these kind of things has to be taught to the school engineering students. No matter what you do, there are fundamental. Let's say, for example, if you look at the fundamental metal cutting theory, I would easily say metal cutting theory has not find any major development as compared to Stone Age, because the fundamental remains same. I think there are 2 fundamentals which our forefathers, our ancestors were using in Stone Age. Even today, those 2, none of us could able to overcome. So that's the kind of, there are some sustainable, the strong basis there for the theories which are evolved over centuries. Yes, another aspect is whether it is a, whatever the system you do, whether it is an electronic component, whether it is a small food components, food products, or the engineering components. Multi-scale, here multi-scale means you can consider as a multi-size dimension scale or capacity size. Then multifunctional, because now people are looking at intelligent autonomous system. This all depends on the innovations happened in these 3. One is with respect to process, another is with respect to equipments, machines, and then the factory systems, factories, trends like all industry 4 and all we're talking. Yes, there are theoretical limitations and there are practical limitations when you deal with the multiple scales. Say, for example, since I worked in micro nano domain, so I can easily say when I talking about micro nano scale, there is a scaling effect. So there is a question whether the theory which is studied is valid or not at this scale. In many cases, is not valid and it is not linearly proportional. So you need to customize to the technology. But yes, there are theory, basic theory, still principles remain same. And at the same time, yes, there are a lot of emphasis. It cannot be done with one person or with one group or with one institute. I think we need to talk to other people, engage, collaborate, and innovate, and look at not as 1P, but are 4P. If you remember in my first slide, the 4 Ps are product, process, people, and production. These are the value chain of manufacturing process. And our, instead of I'm calling it product manufacturing process, is a product engineering process chain, value chain. Yes, the target is too far. So we've came out of made for India. Nobody looks at globally the components made for India now, because Indian users are also becoming competitive, both in terms of usage as well as affordability. Made in India is a process, but Make in India is a process. Sorry, second one is Make in India is a process. Made in India is our pride. Of course, now we are looking for originated in India. If you want really wanted to have sustainable manufacturing, a sustainable development. Yes, these are all. This is what basically fundamentally I wanted to teach. But yes, there are many trends, developments happen, Industry 4 and all. But global, the fundamental is look, predict, digitize, share, analytics, and automate. This was not new. It was there. Only thing is, it was happening by manually. Maybe in a company, every company where there is a person like somebody Mishraji, somebody Banerjee, some Rao, some Gowda, somebody is there. So because of that, the industry is used to operate. But now that is being replaced with the development happens with IT and networking technology, computational technology. That is what basically the Industry 4. Yes, don't look at Industry 4 deploy and all. This is what basically this is more of industrial. We advocate to the industries. There's a lot of building blocks. You can connect one by one, then you can adopt it. So this is what the innovation happens. CMTI also does this. This is a smart factory. So this is coming up at CMTI. Maybe in another 6 months, this will be operating. There are several technology associated, both mechanical engineers, manufacturing engineers, computers, electronics, people are involved, including you people like fluid dynamics. There are a lot of things are there here. We basically develop the technologies which are associated with to demonstrate the smart factory. And why I show this slide is this not happens with CMTI alone. So we have to work with the people. These are the partners now. They are working with us on different aspects of this. These are all industry partners. Yes, no, again, we in India let a lot of things. Okay, this area is more popular or more cutting edge. This area is not cutting edge. Believe me, even today, number of PhDs produced in mechanical engineering, large in metal cutting. So that is the reason, no matter what you do, there are different challenges in each area. So you are a fluid dynamics. I'm sure you can list n number of challenges by the end of this faculty training program. That is what, don't worry, don't feel you are inferior or don't feel you are superior. You are working on different area and all. I'm just give an example here. Say for example, micro nanotechnology, where I'm worked for last 12, 13 years. You believe if this kind of drawing is given and ask them to make in the order of, these are all if you dimension, if you make it a microns, there is no single process which is confidently one can use it and make this component. This is what the challenge is. So this is challenge for not only one discipline, it is entire engineering. So similarly, even additive manufacturing people are looking at what is more popular. If you look, just you wanted to change additive manufacturing as an alternative manufacturing process. This I listed because my PhD is in this area. So that is why I have selected these two areas. If you look at additive manufacturing as an alternative manufacturing process, there are so many questions still not answered. Say, for example, how do you believe that design component product is designed for forged component can withstand, can have the same strength, same functional requirements when the component made out of additive manufacturing? Answer is no. Maybe it is inferior or maybe superior, I won't say, because it all depends on the product design and also the process what you would use and the application what you do. But yes, it won't believe. That means you need to design the component for the process. So like that, there are many challenges. So one has to look at, then naturally it is easy to bring into the classroom and make the students more productive and also engaged. With this background, yes, we CMTI as is actually our parent department, Department of Heavy Industry, as a new program. We initiated a new program. It is Open Innovation Technology Platform. Here, what we do is because in industry, in Indian industries are small scale industry, innovation is always challenge. We don't have, if you want to say, if you allow me to say, we don't have fund to spend $2 million or 2 million rupees to develop a technology which is otherwise costing 200 rupees in the market. So this is the challenge we have. Many times we de-risk ourselves. This is the platform we try to have for the benefit of promoting both individual innovation as well as finding the solutions to the industrial problems by collaborating. So here, this is a web-based platform we call drishti.cmti. So www.drishti.cmti.res.in. You type, you will get into this. I request all of you to enroll registered. It takes only 4 minutes. You register. You can register as a problem solver. You can register as a problem owner. But by default, all the modes, because many of you are experts, domain experts, you registered there. And then this platform, what it gives is like this. If somebody has a problem, he can host the problem. Then the problem will be hosted on the web platform. And the problem solver will get an alert. This problem challenge is open for solution. If it is relevant to you, problem solver can propose the proposal, is his concept, because there is no cheating. You don't need to share everything. It is like submitting a proposal or the concept. Then the mentor committee or the expert team will evaluate along with the problem owner, select, then the innovation cycle will start. This is for finding a solution for the industry problem. But on the other hand, if someone has, say for example, some student or some faculty or team of people have developed a concept, this concept need to be developed or taken further to a technology level of, say for example, TRL3, called Technology Readiness Level 3 is up to basic research. Or if you want to take 4 or 5, you need to make a prototype, you have to demonstrate. There also this platform allows, because that is where you may not have all the expertise which you want to, which are required to engineer your concept into a viable product or proof of concept. So that stage you need to talk to somebody. So you can also use this platform there. So this is the web page. You link it and register. The registration is free. Currently, one problem is open. It is a design problem, product design problem. So I think, I don't know, last date is approaching. If some of you can use there, it's there. You can follow. But like that, there are similar problems will come. And there are definitely different schemes are also we worked out. There's always open challenges there for industrial challenge. And annually CMT conduct a design innovation clinic for the students. Okay, we'll recognize award for the best, but if we find that we wanted to incubate them for 5 or 5 with CMTI, which are relevant to us. And also if someone wanted to take into entrepreneurship, so there is a scheme we worked out, so that could be discussed, deliberated. We can incubate those concepts or develop through incubation into another 1 or 2 years till they commercializing. Or if one is not innovative, there are, as I said, about 50 technologies, CMT technologies there. For that matter, not necessary CMT technology. Any Indian R&D Institute technology, one can wanted to have kind of towards the technology licensing or commercializing. So you can use this platform, we can host them. And then if any students or faculty got an award, there are so many innovation schemes are there. So I just listed Gandhian Award. So similar awards. So CMT can become host through this scheme. And if someone wanted this for government ministries, if they wanted to have a grant challenge, so that this platform would become a media to reach to the maximum. At this moment, we have about 1,400 registered. I don't know, some of you must be there. 1,400 registrations are there as a user of this portal. But yes, our target is 5,000. So I request you and your students to enroll. And also there is a rolling call. You can always host the problem whenever you want. Yes, at least I strongly believe from last 25 years, my research career, you alone cannot work. and at the same time, you always have to keep your door open, at least one door open, so that people can reach you and people can reach you for both help as well as to seek suggestions. And yes, in India, many collaborations doesn't work. So you have to collaborate with like-minded, because if MOU signed at the top level by directors, the MOUs will be there safely in the shelf of respective officers, unless the working faculty is interested to collaborate, openly work with them. Because there's always many challenges. Somebody copies, somebody IPR issues. Whether I'm great, whether you great, these all things are there, but nobody is great. Everybody comes from same way and goes same way. I think that is where we need to focus. I think I will stop, or I will take another 4 minutes. I'll show you an example where academia, industry, we could able to develop a technology. Professor Ramkrishna, should I continue or should I stop? Because hello? Hello?
Hello, another 2 minutes left, sir.
Okay. Yes, this is one project we executed jointly in collaboration with 12 research team, 10 institute. This is funded by DST. This is making smart metal casting factory, which looks like this. So like this is a smart factory. Of course, it was meant for 25 cube, that is 25 volts engineer who could afford 25 lakhs and 25 meter square area could establish a foundry to cast 1 kg casting. So that is what there. This is the team, and this is the team when project started at IIT Bombay kickoff meeting, and this is along with our students and working team. This is at CMTI. Of course, this project started in 2016 back when I was there. I was one of the PIs, so this project also we brought into CMTI. This is what last October we demonstrated. The first casting came out of the development made. Here, zero import. We have not bought any system. Everything is developed, starting from part design to hardware. All the machines developed by our own team. Then sensors are all integrated. The industry for data acquisition and all, including the analytics engine. The data analytics engine also developed by our team. So this is the casting. This is what basically we worked up to the third. From bottom up to that. And these are, I will just show you, this is software, simulation software which is developed by our own team. And of course, this connects all this kind of, you can look at data, integrity of the data. And so you can always simulate methoding, design the tooling. Then there's a team at College of Engineering. This was done by 3 institutes. This is again College of Engineering Pune team developed a 3D printing machine and to make the patterns. And this is how the patterns looks like. Then this is a machine, automatic molding machine developed at CMERI, my old institute. That is where we started. Then like mobile app, this even the molding machine can be controlled through your mobile. And to make the sand mold, there's another private engineering college from Anand, Gujarat. They developed the molding machine, the melting unit. These are all prototypes made at engineering school. And this is sand reclamation unit developed by another team like this. But again, this is another private engineering college in Maharashtra. And then the data acquisition IIoT is developed by CMTI team, my colleagues here, for all this hardware, to connect this hardware and all. And this is how it looks like. This is one unified controller. All hardware are connected, and GUIs are there. Data is acquired, appropriate through IIoT, and server is installed at CSR lab at Trivandrum. So these are all different components of IIoT is developed by our CMTI team, right? Then do the analysis. So this is data flow engine. You can monitor the process status by color and also the graphs you can monitor. the data acquired. So I'm just skipping because just to show that these are all possible. Is done in engineering school level, right? And then data analytics. So these are all the kind of data you could acquire and then share and do the analysis. After doing an analysis, this gives some predictions like, okay, red, this is a caution. One has to look at the next batch when you make the casting. These are all some different theories. And now what we are doing is, now everything we are integrating, we are building complete one machine. This machine is under fabrication at CMTI. This complete smart foundry is coming up with a footprint of 16 feet by 8 feet. That is the foundry, metal casting foundry, starting from RP pattern making to sand reclamation within the footprint of 16 feet by 8 feet. So this is what symbolically we shown. All things we integrated and converted Smart Foundry into integrated Smart Foundry. So with this effort of 10 institute, this has happened. Traditional foundry has become Smart Foundry. Person dependent organization has been converted into data dependent. Experience based learning have been converted into evidence based decision making. Art, because metal casting is still art based, but that becomes analytics based. Local to reputation, not necessary that you should have one at one place. Each hardware could be placed at a different place and you can operate. And our target is to have foundry sustainable. So this is what happened. Only the team which I shown and work together. So this is where I wanted to close. So thank you for giving me the opportunity and for your patience hearing. If any clarifications, questions, so I will be happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Naganmaya sir, for delivering for telling about the CMTI's objectives and how the CMTI helps the faculty and all. We are grateful to you, sir. Now I request all the audience to link to Google Meet through the second 10:30 session. We'll continue with the 10:30 session now. I request Dr. Pradeep Siddeshwar and Dr. Sadashiva Gowda and all other members to go to the second link. Nagan Hanmaya sir also. I personally thank Naganmaya sir because he was very busy today. He said he was having a meeting with the central ministry. In spite of that busy schedule, he came here and he spent some time with us. So I'm very much grateful to you, sir. I would like you to continue with us if the time permits. Otherwise, you can leave the meeting, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sorry I cannot make it. So other commitments. So thank you. So my colleagues will definitely help you. I think they have two of my questions.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಇವಾಗ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲಿಂಕ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋಣ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
With this, we'll close this link. We are going to open the other link now. Please, I request all the participants and our guest of honor to link through the second link which we have provided, 10:30 session link. We are sorry for the delay. I thought we will complete this by 10:30, inaugural session by 10:30.
So slightly it has got postponed, delayed due to some technical error. So we are sorry for that. Please, I request all the participants and guests to join through the second link. I'm waiting. We are linking now.